to get our crime back and clean the streets, we have to get tough on crime. And one of the things that we need to do is to get the constables or community sheriffs and their assistants into every community in our country with the right training to be able to bring back again into our communities the sense of safety, that every home and house in that community will be brought to a point where they can again feel safe to walk out of their home on the streets and their kids can play without being abducted, threatened, shot at, or, harmed. So these constables, or as you knew them, community sheriffs, with their crew, will be well and truly trained to be able to deal more socially with the problems that plague our communities. 70% of our police force now are involved in domestic violence. So that's why you see a police force that's softened a bit on crime, because they didn't go into the police force to be marriage counsellors. They went there to fight crime and to keep our country safe. So the frontline police again will be resourced, and we'll have a special gang enforcement squad that I'll probably be in charge of, and I'll make myself the mandatory president of every gang in this country, honorary president, because I got a relationship with them through the men that I know. And I know how we can reduce the gangs in their criminal activity and their growth. They're about 8,500 strong. The police force is only 10,000. It's a bit of a force to reckon with. But how national, Luxton and Seymour to deal with this won't work. And it hasn't worked in the past. But we have a way to be able to deal with this, so it does work. So every young youth comes in the youth category, has been involved in any type of criminal activity, who's underage, like ram raiding, will immediately come into the hands of compulsory entry into the Man Up program, and their parents have to do it as well for a specified time until they know by experienced leaders that they've actually turned their lives around. If they don't, they're threatened with partial compulsory military service. All of those prisoners that continue to be recidivists or to reoffend again have only one chance on this, then they're automatically put into a military regime which will teach them right from the bottom how to get out of those problems, discipline their lives again, and it'll be compulsory for them to do an elongated man-up course, and also for the women as well to do the legacy program, and their families together, monitored with the experience that we have, that they have truly changed. Then they'll be reintroduced back into society again. But at the same time, we are energising that army that we haven't got right now, a defence force. We haven't got one, but we are potentially raising the best soldiers in the world to later on join in an ANZA, Australia-New Zealand Alliance, with the Australians to have the best defence force, one of the best in the world, where we will look after the southern Pacific Ocean, involving the islands, that we will make sure we protect our shores, and we're isolated enough to make sure we do that. But more importantly, we are disciplining and ridding crime at the root, and then getting on top of it by allowing these guys to also enter into work programs or the skills that they need to actually get into work and employment, so they never ever come back into crime again. We will also look at white-collar crime and those that are doing fraudulent acts at CEO level, company levels, will be committed to the maximum security prisons where the worst of the worst criminals are. That's a deterrent, because no white man white-collar crime, who frauds, gets away with it oftenly, that's going to be their they won't want to go there. So they'll think twice about going to that. We'll also look seriously, don't quote on me, this is put to you to answer me back. Consider that the death penalty may be looked at for those who are premeditated murder, first-degree murderers, serial paedophiles, serial rapists. It cannot be changed, but have been put out into society again, time and time again, to do this. Now, you're saying, boy, but the actual fact of that appearing out there will put the fear in a lot of people in entering into crime, the fear of not having your life turned around through a fantastic course to get you to be the person you need to be through our Man Up programs, which are proven to work. Then what faces you is military time, and it'll be compulsory for a year or two, all depends. Then you're brought back into society. Those that are prisoners that reoffend, as I said to you before, will be doing a stretch of military training in their prison time, but also re-entering and making the workforce by special training methods. The gang enforcement squad will be working with people we know to reduce the gang numbers, and then eventually, I believe in a 5 to 10 year period, New Zealand will just about be the New Zealand that we knew before, that never had the crime like we see today. Please don't say that he's going to put the death penalty in. I just suggested it so that you all talked about it and see what you feel about it.
And we'll look at malfeasance in public office, because there's a few that need to be seriously looked at from the last lot.
There you go. Yep. Absolutely. Maximum security for them.
Fantastic. All right, that brings our session to an end. If you had any more questions or you feel anything wasn't answered, feel free to come and say hello to the team, and they're very approachable. But we have got a cup of tea and coffee, and that concludes our evening for this evening. So together we are better. Party vote, Freedoms New Zealand. Thank you. Have a good run.